everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a foundation review for you. Today's review is of the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Foundation. I was about to say it is a new foundation, but it is about 6 or 7 months old. It launched in the UK first, and then about a month or so ago, maybe only 3 weeks ago, it launched on charlottetilbury.com's US website, as well as on Beautylish, and then I think also Nordstrom. A few select Nordstrom stores also carry this product. Now, I'm not sure why there was a 6 or 7 month delay in the foundation, but I was dying to get my hands on it. But like a lot of you makeup junkies that are interested in the latest and greatest, I would still follow what people were saying about it. People in the UK or in countries that did have this product, what they were saying about it. And it didn't get a lot of rave reviews, but I felt like I'm such a fan of Charlotte Tilbury's products overall. I mean, obviously, in my opinion, there are a few not so great products in the bunch, or maybe, I don't want to say they're not so great, but maybe they're just not worth the cost. But I do have a lot of products of hers that I love. Overall, a fan of the brand. So I really did want to get my hands on this foundation. So as soon as I saw it on Beautylish, I thought I'm going to get it, and I'm going to definitely review it for my subscribers. So that's what I did. I ordered it from Beautylish. I love ordering from Beautylish. I could get my products in like 2 days. They offer free shipping over $35. No, I don't work for Beautylish. It's just a little plug for them, I guess. So I do like to order from them. It is a 1 ounce bottle. It retails for $44, which is comparable to most of your mid to high end foundations. I consider like your high end, like, you know, your Colourpop and those types of things where you're going to spend 70 plus for a foundation. But for most people, $44 is still quite a high end foundation. So anyway, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys the demo of when I put it on my skin, and then come back and do more of like the review, basically my thoughts overall on the foundation. So if you are interested in seeing that, then please keep watching. So I want to start off with some comparison swatches to other foundations I own and wear. I'm assuming that a lot of you, like myself, are going to be ordering, if you're interested in ordering this foundation, will be doing so online. You won't be seeing the colors in person. So while Charlotte does have a chart, as we all know, you know, they're somewhat helpful, but it's always best to be able to, you know, test it in person. But if you can't, you know, doing your research like you're doing by watching different reviews and seeing different skin tones. And for me, comparison swatches really help. So that's why I'm doing this for you. So the color that I used is 5 medium, and that's just basically going off of her chart by the model and then by what she described the undertone as being, and then also looking around online and seeing different things. And I just felt like I was a toss-up between the 5 and the 6. The 6, I don't know why I didn't choose the 6. I just felt like the 5 sounded more like me, even though it said something like that it had kind of a peachiness to it. That really concerned me, and I don't think I saw somebody mention peachiness until after I had already ordered. So I was really torn between the 5 and 6, but the 5 ended up being really good, and you'll see in a second. So it's a true liquidy foundation. It's not runny at all. The comparison to, like, here's Studio Fix Fluid. So this is the 5. So let me swatch it out for you. So it's thick and it's kind of creamy, but it's not super heavy in my opinion. And then next up, we're gonna put the NC37, which is more my MAC Studio Fix Summer color. Very similar in texture to the MAC Studio Fix Fluid. So again, now we have the NC37. So this bright light is kind of bugging me, but very comparable in tone. The NC37 is a little bit more yellow. And now that I have it on my hand, I'd say that the Studio Fix Fluid is, I don't know, it's not quite as thick looking as the Charlotte Tilbury. So then let's do the NC25 also, next to the 37. Because 25 is like my summer color. No, my winter color, like when I'm more pale. So there we have the MAC Studio Fix Fluid NC25 NC37 and Charlotte Tilbury's Magic number 5. And as you can see, the Magic foundation is also a lot glossier. Like it stayed pretty shiny there. And then finally, another foundation that I use and love is the Estee Lauder Double Wear in 2W2 Rattan. This one tends to shoot out at me, so I just put it on my finger first. So I'm putting this one on the other side of the Charlotte Tilbury. So Rattan is much lighter, much more yellow. As you can see on my skin, the other three tend to definitely veer more peach, whereas this one is more yellow. So truthfully, this Rattan, as you can see as it kind of blends into my hand, is more my color. But I self-tan a lot and I like to have my face a little bit darker and I blend down, so that's why I go with these darker shades. Because in the summer I will get more of that kind of tone. But once again, we've got the Double Wear Rattan, the Charlotte Tilbury 5, NC37 MAC Studio Fix Fluid, and NC25 MAC Studio Fix Fluid. So even though this claims to be a full coverage foundation, I've talked about this before in other foundation reviews, that is very subjective apparently with foundations in the foundation world, because one person's medium is another person's full, or even, you know, sheer. I mean, it just being in this business for so long and talking to people about products for the last 20 years, I've discovered that, you know, one person's pink is another person's orange, and one person's, you know, like I said, one person's full coverage is somebody else's medium. So to me, this is not a full coverage, and my comparisons are to the Estee Lauder Double Wear, to the MAC Studio Fix Fluid, to the Marc Jacobs foundation, which are all completely full coverage, that flawless finish. So this is my skin with nothing on it. I do find after using this so many times that I do get the fullest coverage using some sort of kabuki brush. A beauty blender, you're gonna be, especially if it's a damp beauty blender, you're gonna be, if you're looking for coverage, you're gonna be building for a while. It's not gonna give you that look, I found. I suppose you could use your fingers, but I just myself really like this brush, or any type of, I tried even a domed kabuki, which also worked. Now, I swear by this Hourglass primer for oily skin, and it did help with the oiliness of this foundation on my skin. So I am gonna put that on today. I didn't find any difference in the way it looked, so maybe just for you guys, I'll just do one side. But this primer really, really helps, more than any I have found, to help with getting oily throughout the day. So if you have watched any of my previous foundation videos, you know I'm a fan of a pump. I think all foundations should have a pump. This one is a 1 ounce product. It's really pretty packaging, I think, and it does have a pump. The pump does get really messy, but I find that with a lot of my foundations, it gets really messy. So that's just me being lazy about cleaning it off, I guess. So I'm gonna start with 1 pump. And there it is. I'm trying to get in so you guys can see. Okay, so as you can see, hopefully you'll agree, that the color is pretty good for me. And it's giving decent coverage right off the bat. But it doesn't, like, the claims are that it smooths away your imperfections, like the pores, you're gonna be poreless and all that, and I definitely don't think so. Okay, and that was the primed side. So now let's do the other side. I just put on another pump. So this is 1 go around with the foundation, 1 pump on each side. It is perfectly fine medium coverage. What you're not gonna get right off the bat, and even you'll see with another coat, you're not gonna get a flawless look. Now, if this is your first video of mine that you've ever seen even, you might think, oh, that really does give a flawless look, but in comparison to other foundations I've tried and used, like the ones I've previously mentioned, it's not that flawless look. It's very natural looking, I guess, finish. It's not super matte, it's not super glowy. I could see how on somebody with drier skin, it might not be a dewy enough finish for them. Now, the other claims with this foundation are that in an hour's time, it has hyaluronic spheres that are supposed to fill in fine lines. So if you do have fine lines like myself, it is supposed to, within an hour, kind of help to blur those. So it is one of those foundations that's supposed to kind of get better over after it's been worn for a little bit. So let's do another coat. Okay, so here we have, after a second coat, definitely built up a little bit more. Still not saying it's full, only because I have some discoloration through here that is still not covered like it is with my Double Wear or my Studio Fix Fluid or the Marc Jacobs. So basically, this is not something that I'm going to wear when I want that flawless look. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to finish off my makeup. I have my eyes done, sort of, and I'm going to definitely set this with some powder and explain to you my other thoughts about this foundation. But I just wanted to show you how it looks on the skin. This is shade number 5, and let's get to the rest of the review. So that was the demo. As you can see, I put on the rest of my makeup. This was the side that had the primer. This was the side without the primer. As I mentioned during the demo, I didn't find much of a difference in the way the foundation looked over a primer, but I did find there was a difference in the way it wore with that Hourglass primer, because that really helps me with any foundation I use to help control the oilies. So that said, since we're talking about the oiliness, let's talk about, because I know I have a lot of my fellow oily skin viewers out there that are really curious about how this holds up on oily skin, because it does claim to be a all-day 15-hour wear. Is that true? Yes and no. Yes, in that it really did hold up. I didn't see a lot of breaking up of the foundation. Whenever I wear a foundation that's not necessarily a long wear or geared towards an oily skin, I do notice a lot of breakup in my T-zone. It just separates, it just disappears in spots, and I'm sure a lot of you out there can relate to that, and that's frustrating because you want your foundation to not come off in spots. However, what did happen with this foundation is that it did make me pretty greasy towards the end of the day. I powder a lot. I use skin, products underneath to help control the oil, like the Hourglass primer. So that definitely helped, but I found that it just made me very wet feeling, wet looking after, I would say, let's say I put it on around 9, like I would say around 4, I definitely, like if I wiped my face, you would have like a slide or a pool of something. So it didn't disappear, it was just really, I hate the word, use the word greasy feeling, but it just made me feel oily. And there are definitely foundations that while I get oily breakthrough, I don't feel oily. I feel like I could blot it or powder it and it's okay, and it's only maybe in a certain spot. But with this foundation, overall, very sheeny and oily feeling. It also tended to oxidize hair. I think I might have mentioned in the demo that when I was looking at the shades, it did say something about a peachy undertone to this shade number 5, and I definitely felt like that comes through after, like right now it doesn't look peachy, it looks like a pretty good match to my skin, but by the end of the day I do feel a little like it does oxidize a little bit. So it does oxidize, it does get a little shiny. So a lot of you are probably thinking like, so what are you saying, Risa? Is it good for us oily skins or not? Again, yes and no. It depends what you're looking for. If you are looking for just a day-to-day foundation that you, like me, I don't care, really don't care what I look like after about 5 in the afternoon. If I'm home or if I'm just running my kids to soccer practice, not that I don't care what I look like, but I don't need like a flawless, perfect look like you might need if you're at work, you know, depending on your job. If you need your foundation to look perfect, if you're in the public eye or you're a professional and you're working 12-hour, 15-hour days face to face with people, then this is not going to be your foundation if you're oily. But if you're someone like me whose day ends pretty much, you know, after you're done running around the kids to soccer practice, then it's okay. And it will probably be a good day-to-day foundation for me. It's not going to be my going out foundation. It's not going to be, you know, when I want to look, you know, I live in Vegas. We like to go out and like, you know, get all dolled up. So that's going to be my Double Wear, my Marc Jacobs, my Studio Fix Fluid. Those are my go-tos for when I want a flawless look. But day to day, I like this. I can't review this foundation without talking about the skincare benefits of it. I have not worn it enough to see those benefits, I don't think. I've only worn it for about 2 weeks, maybe 3, and I haven't worn it every single day because I'm trying to test out some other foundations as well for you guys. It's really hard because you want to get a good, you know, a good thorough review and an honest review and a truthful review. But if you're using a different foundation, you know, in between, it's like, okay, now which one did I like? Which one was that? So you got to kind of keep track. So my point is that I haven't worn it long enough by itself to see the alleged skincare benefits, which are vitamin C for clarity in the skin, to improve the skin texture and clarity. It also has, like I mentioned in the demo, the hyaluronic spheres, which are supposed to help plump the skin and diminish the look of fine lines. It's got a couple other things. I hate to read off of things because you can do this, you know, because you can do this yourself. Oh, basically I got everything. Laricel, which is a mushroom extract, French medical legend. It's highly sought after and is elixir for longer life. It improves skin firmness, magically tightens pores, floods the skin with moisture. And then, as I mentioned, the supercharged vitamin C and the hyaluronic filling spheres. So that's another reason why I might use it just as my day in and day out foundation, because anything that helps improve my skin, I'm all for it. So basically my final thoughts on this foundation are it's a good foundation, it's not a great foundation. It seems from other reviews that I've seen that it does work for a lot of different skin types, probably except for your most dry and your most oily, which I sometimes put myself in that category, but maybe I'm sure there's somebody out there who's more oily. And I already gave you the pitfalls for the oily skin, that you're not gonna get, you know, it's not the best for us oily skins if you're looking for something that's gonna last you 15 hours and not make you feel kind of greasy. So I think that combo skin, you might not have that problem. You could also kind of see in my demo how shiny it kind of was in compared to the other swatches. And so it doesn't sit on the skin. It's pretty weightless, but yeah, it's a good foundation. It's not amazing. I am sorry to say, Charlotte, I don't think that it's magic. It didn't like magically make my pores smaller and magically transform me into flawless skin or anything, unfortunately. But if you are looking for a good everyday foundation with some skincare benefits, then definitely give it a try. So that's all. I thank you so much for watching. As always, please subscribe. Please thumbs up if you did like the video. You can also follow me on Instagram and on Snapchat, which are Risa Does Makeup. And I'll see you very soon. Have a great day.